Hello, beautiful creatives. This is Heather, and I'm really excited to share another session with you today. So, I would like to share with you an exercise where we explore an emotional need through color. I hope you enjoy. So, in this class, we will work with one singular color and explore it through different mediums and materials. So I'd actually like to show you here in my art journal some examples of how I have created like color mood boards, working with red, working with blues and greens. So this is something that's I have been doing in the past, is to explore the different colors and exploring different shades, lighter reds, warmer reds, cooler reds, darker reds, and then you have some rose, dried rose petals, some magazine images and different patterns, and some washi tape. Yeah, this is just fun to explore a color with different materials and different mediums, some water-soluble crayons, and again, some images, craft papers. So I would like you to grab all of your favorite coloring materials like paint, crayons, whatever you have in all the colors that you have, and also some collage materials, some craft paper. And before we dive into this exploring and creating with the materials and the colors, we will look for an emotional need. And I will explain in a moment how that works. And we will approach this as a mindfulness, intuitive, experimental, and process-oriented class. A kind of self-care, tapping inside kind of exercise. I also invite you to do a little 5-minute deep breathing exercise or a little short meditation session, just to feel relaxed yet awake and really present in the moment. So let's talk a little bit about what is an emotional need. Emotional needs are feelings or conditions we need to feel happy, fulfilled, or at peace. Recognizing and meeting our emotional needs is the most effective route to good mental health. It keeps us in balance. And some examples are the need for affection, acceptance, emotional connection, autonomy, security, trust, empathy, belonging, and the list goes on. So I think that creative methods can be really helpful in accessing our emotional needs, and can also provide a way how we can practice and explore meeting those needs, even if it's just in a symbolic way. And I'm sure you have experienced for yourself how colors have such a direct impact on our emotions. They can change our emotions, and we can express our emotions through colors. So maybe close your eyes for a moment. Maybe you already have a sense of what emotional need is present. Maybe you already know that you would like to feel safe or validated or connected to others right now. Of course, there's always several emotional needs going on. Just look for the one that is mostly asking for attention. And maybe you can't quite grasp it yet. It's always a good way to go into your body, get quiet, center yourself, listen to your body's response for the following questions. What do I need most right now? What emotional nourishment am I seeking? And go with the one that intuitively takes center stage. You might already have seen that I'm really into green at the moment. I went inside and I got this feeling. I want to feel hopeful, and I want to feel peaceful, and I want to feel secure. And so I guess it comes down to the emotional need for safety, for feeling safe and protected. And the color that I felt most drawn to was green. So I took all the other colors away so that I have a lot of space, and I grabbed all the green colors that I have in acrylics, in watercolor, crayons, pastels, and I also had any kind of images and papers that had the color green. I also got them on the table. So once you have your color, get your art journal or a piece of paper and your paints, your coloring mediums, and we're going to start with exploring the color. Now I want to dive first into the color, and I want to explore all the different shades, and I'm not trying to create anything in particular. I'm almost creating something like a color palette. I want to see which green feels the most soothing, the most gives me most the sense that I'm protected. I have this kind of sense of being connected, and I'm really just playing. I'm exploring the medium as much as I'm exploring the colors. Also mixing them. I'm just feeling this green. I'm getting into this, feeling the green. Blending the colors, also the movements, the marks I'm making. It's all completely part of this intuitive exploration. And I think what feels more soothing or more giving me this feeling of protection are the darker greens, the warmer greens. So I want to go into them more, and I think this is quite of a dirty green that I don't like so much. It doesn't matter. I'm not really judging. I'm just exploring. I'm observing my reaction. I'm observing what feels good. How can I change it even? What gives me the feeling of, yeah, this is what the emotional need feels like. And I don't worry about how I can fulfill that or what will make me feel that I need it. I really like a dark green. So maybe I will even add a little bit of black if I can find it. Also have the watercolors. I already feel though, I feel what gives me the most kind of peaceful feeling is like a darker green that's not too cold and not too warm. And then here I have more greens to try out. These are water soluble, so I have this little water brush pen. Make this flow a little bit more. So I put music on. I enjoy also I feel I want to get my hands into the paint. This doesn't make me feel good. And the very light ones are not really giving me enough safety. I really, really enjoy this color here. I think this was the sap green. It's like a beautiful forest green, and I feel like I want to feel it with my hands as well. And I just follow like the impulse now of what my hands want to do with this color, like they almost creating like a little forest here. And it's almost like a protection wall, maybe like a, or like a bird's, like a nest, like somewhere where I can feel really protected and nourished. And it feels really good to be in touch with this color, with my hands, with my skin, and controlling the movement and the direction. And I just completely let that flow intuitively. Just exploring the feeling and exploring what my hands want to do with this color on them. Okay, I do also realize as I'm doing it, I'm observing my feelings. I'm just really in this very mindful, observing state, and I realize that I really enjoy the darker green, but also how the lighter ones are shining through. So I realize this emotional need is not just being met by this one thing or one color or one shade of something. I like there needs to be a bit of contrast and a bit of multiple layers working together, I guess is what I want to say. So I also enjoy this, and I enjoy this one here. Now I want to try this one again. This was a very light green, but it's a kind of beautiful, like a color that is like fresh new growth. It's kind of a youthful and playful green. So yeah, so as I'm playing with the color, I move away from this, oh, I like the dark, I don't like the light, and I just keep playing with all of them. Because I know I'm not creating a painting here, so that allows me to be completely free, completely loose, and enjoy this playing. I guess this is an olive green, but it's very more like a brown. Let's see what happens. Yeah, this is again this kind of dirty green or very yellowish green that was over here that I don't enjoy so much. So the great thing is I can go over it. I can explore some more different colors. Oh, now I really like kind of drawing into some of the wet paint. So what I'm realizing as well as I'm doing this, I'm also observing the movements and the patterns, and I realize there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of energy in here. So feeling nurtured and protected doesn't mean it's something that's kind of stiff and with very hard boundaries, or how should I say, with very strict lines and forms. Here I was building this forest to protect, and now I'm getting more again into wanting to loosen it up. So I guess it's this constant back and forth with our emotions and with our needs. They change, and they are not just one they don't just have one quality, let's put it this way. We want to feel secure and also free and playful. I think that's real security, when we feel within that security, within the boundaries, within the fortress, so to speak. We can be free and playful. Yeah, so you can use whatever you like, any kind of medium, any kind of supplies, different types of brushes, like a brayer, or also like a sponge, anything that, you know, you spontaneously feel you want to use. That's the thing, that's the right way to go. So I really enjoy the liquid paint, the acrylic paint, so I'm gonna do a little bit more with what I have here. So yeah, I feel I could spend hours like this and really enjoy this. Feeling the paint, really feeling this color in my body, and continue to think about how this color expresses this need, this emotional need, and enjoying the process. So this next part is where I want to put things together. As you can see here, I have already collected a lot of green images and papers, anything green that I could find. I was going through all my stacks of collage material, of craft paper, of magazine images, although I tried to stay more in kind of an abstract patterns and just really focusing on the colors more than on any kind of symbolism in magazine images. That's what I usually do, but I really felt with this emotional need of feeling secure and safe and nourished. Of course, I have some nature images because Mother Nature is definitely very soothing and is grounding and gives me feeling of nourishment very much. But I also really wanted to stay with the color more than anything, any symbolism of, you know, like, for example, a seahorse or these green doors. I just put them here for inspiration, or the dragonfly. It's like a little mood board once again. And now the next step is to put them all together and create a little collage that is almost like an act of meeting those needs or this emotional need. By now putting it all together, I feel I am symbolically meeting my need. Now the paint, the paper, I also want to use. You know, you could go different ways here. You could use this as a base and then, you know, build a collage on top with images or with other papers. What I like to experiment with is I want to cut the paper into squares, and yeah, maybe squares, because I feel that is kind of a stabilizing shape. And then I'm gonna create a collage using the paper squares from what I've painted, and then whatever I find here that yeah, that makes me feel is part of this. Yes, and so here now I have all these wonderful random squares. They're like beautiful little mini paintings, and they give me a lot of joy. Okay, so now first of all I need to make some room here. Move all of this over. I like these, really like little mini paintings. And I'm working on a big sheet of paper. And maybe I'll just put some things out. I'm not worried again about compositions. I'm not worried about how they all fit together. I'm seeing this again as an act of mindfully tuning in again in this feeling of the emotional need of safety, of security. While I'm doing this, I'm thinking a little bit more about what this actually means to me now that I have created my papers and I've worked with the different shades of green. And so what does this actually mean to me now? And what do I want to have in this collage for this kind of purpose? I'm not sure anymore if I want something kind of that tells a little story, like this Zen garden is beautiful. It kind of matches the mood, the feeling, the emotion. I find this very cozy. I find this is kind of a healing, sacred place. There is water for fluidity and movement. There are trees that are giving me the feeling of nurturing. There's grounding here with the sand and the rocks that give me a feeling of safety and stability. So one thing I could try is to take this kind of as a focal point. Maybe right here in the center, and then I could play maybe first of all with my own little color explorations. And of course you could even come in here with color once again, and there are really no rules. And I have not, this part I really have not planned. This part is completely spontaneous, exploring and discovering as I go. So this is like a mosaic of all the different aspects of this emotional need, which is great because it also means that we can meet it in different ways. We can meet that and fulfill that need in different ways. And sometimes one works better than the other. It's all fluid. And I'm just trying different things here. I want there to be a lot of variation. I want the dark and the light, different movements. I don't know at this point if it will stay like this or if it needs something else. And then I check if there's anything else in my papers that I want to include. But I find that they are actually quite distracting. Maybe this would be nice. It also goes with the Zen garden. So yeah, I didn't expect this, but I don't really feel the need to add so much more here. Yeah, I really like the stillness and also the aliveness. So then I realized I felt a little bit overwhelmed with all the white space and the big sheet of paper. So I wanted to go smaller, and I also wanted to try other things. So I was looking for how it would be to use some of the collage images that I had collected and how it would feel to play around with them. Trying different things here. I could also cut the white away around there. So a mix of the collage images and the papers or the collage materials I've gathered, different papers, and then my little mini green explorations. I just love it. What else do I have? Again, this is a kind of a way to experiment. So, you know, this would definitely be one way to go. I could also keep playing, also like maybe ripping some of the paper and adding some more accents with it. Don't all have to stay in this so this is another way that I really enjoy and that gets me to explore the emotional need, and through colors and through imagery as well, and it's all very intuitive. I'm not trying to create something that perfectly gives me this feeling of, yeah, this is the emotional need and this is how I meet it, but it actually it feels so fulfilling and so nurturing that and I keep looking at the color, and I keep looking at the paint, the strokes, the marks I made, and that just gives me a really good feeling. Yes, so the third thing I want to explore now is just working with these guys alone. And this is again something that I do really intuitively, really with the intention to enjoy creating an interesting kind of and they can overlap. Oh, this paper is so thick it keeps moving. So I don't want any white space there. I'm just pushing them together. Really enjoying this. I will leave it right here. I think you have an idea of how you can explore an emotional need through color and experiment with different ways, different methods. And there's just one final step, that is getting out your journal. I think that journaling is a beautiful way to end your mindful exploration. You can journal about the entire process, tuning into an emotional need, selecting a color, exploring that color, experimenting with different mediums, with different shades of that color. Then how you gathered some paper and materials, how everything came together, and most of all, of course, how you were experiencing your emotions, and maybe you had similar experiences like me, where I discovered what feeling secure actually means to me. It is not something very stiff and contained and like a wall around me, but that it's something that feels warm and also liquid and fluid, and that it's a mix of freedom and security and protection. I think these are wonderful insights that we can gain through the creative process. And I really hope that you enjoyed this, and remember, there's no need to come to any conclusions or to have a finished artwork. This is just something to surrender to, something to enjoy. And I'm sure that if you would try this again with different colors and different emotions, you would come to different insights. And also, if you would even choose the same color and the same emotional need a year from now, you might get something very different too. So again, thank you so much for watching, for joining me, and take care.